In today's episode, we're talking Google Analytics. During the Content Marketing World Chat recently, some folks had terrific questions about Google Analytics, so let's tackle those in the next few episodes. Today's question is from Stephanie, who asks, what's the first thing you should do once you have Google Analytics set up on your website? Well, when it comes to Google Analytics, there's only one thing you should do immediately after you set it up, assuming that you've set it up correctly. Now, that's a big assumption. Setting it up correctly in 2019, in today's era, means that you have gotten a Google Analytics account, you've gotten a Google Tag Manager account, and you have installed Google Tag Manager across your website, and then set up Google Analytics within it. That is the most correct way to use Google Analytics to get it set up. If you're not using Google Tag Manager, it will still work because actually Google is forcing you to use Tag Manager anyway with the G-Tag script when you first set up Analytics, but it's not the best way to do it. The best way is Tag Manager. So what do you do immediately after it once you've got everything set up? Only one word: goals. Google Analytics is not useful software if you don't have some goals set. And the goals can be one of three kinds. There's a place you go, there's a thing you do, and then there's how you spend your time, right? Those are the three types of goals within Google Analytics. In the software, they're given different names. They're given names like destination, events, pages per session, or duration. But boiling it down, there's places you go, there's things you do, and then there's how you spend your time. Destination is the places you go, and is probably the easiest place for a lot of people, especially with very simple websites, to spend to track as a goal. Your visitors go somewhere. It could be a thank you page, which is the most common type of destination goal. Someone fills out a form and they hit a thank you page. Great. They've done what you want them to do. They've achieved something important. Other destinations could be specific pages. So, for example, if you have a very long leads sales cycle, say you sell Gulfstream airplanes, or you're a public speaker, there are pages on your website that people will go to check out information that indicate buying intent, but not necessarily, they're not ready to buy right now. So, for example, if you go onto my personal website, ChristopherSpenn.com, you will find the public speaking page, right? That's a page where you're thinking about potentially engaging me as a speaker. You may not be ready to buy, but I might want to know, as a goal for my business, how many people are visiting that page? Who is visiting that page? That's a destination type goal. The second type of goal is called events, and this is a technical term of event, not like, hey, go to a conference. No, events means that the user has done a sequence of actions or a type of action that we want to track. This is a very broad category, but it's used to track essentially types of destinations where you don't have control over what's happening, or types of interactivity on the website that are not pages. So, for example, an event could be, hey, there's a YouTube video on this page and you watched 100% of it. That could be a goal. If it's like your sales video, like introducing, like, hey, check out our new left-handed smoke shifter, then you would want to track and verify, yeah, 100. Here are the people who watched 100% of this video. Another example would be tracking links. People who click on links that are not pages. So if someone clicks on a PDF file, guess what? You want to know that. Someone who clicks on a mail to link, which you really shouldn't use on websites, but people do. You want to know that. Someone clicks on a link to, say, a third-party site like Amazon.com. If you're an author and you've got a book on there, guess what? You want to know that. So events would be the second type of goal. Something that somebody did. That is something that you will need to use Google Tag Manager to make the most of. I mean, you don't have to. There are ways to use events that are painful and clumsy without it, but you really should be using Tag Manager. The third category is how you spent your time, and you can track things like the number of pages per session that somebody spends on your website, or the duration of time they spend on your website. You might say, well, what good is that? Well, it depends on the kind of business you have. If you are a B2B business, you may not care all that much about how much browsing somebody did, right? You may just care, like, I want them to register for my webinar, which you should register for our webinars. But if you're a publisher and you make your money selling ads, the number of pages that somebody visits is absolutely a goal, because the more pages you get visited, the more ads you show, the more money you make. If you are an entertainment company, or you are even, say, like a public speaker, duration might matter, because you want to know, are people spending a lot of time engaging with my content? Are they watching stuff? If you're an influencer, or you're in influencer marketing, duration is absolutely important, because you want to know, hey, folks are spending time with us. Folks are spending their time here as opposed to somewhere else. So those 3 goals are the most important thing that you can do immediately after setting up Google Analytics. And there are some other things you should do for configuration. There's a series of filters that you should install. There's some customization to channel groupings. There's all this other stuff that goes into analytics setup, but they're not as important. You can get a functional Google Analytics, mostly, just by setting up goals. A side note on goals: you need to have a goal, absolutely. You should probably attempt to infer a monetary value for your goals. Even if you'd end up just putting like a $1 arbitrary value, you still want to have some kind of monetary value in your goals, because that makes the application more value. That allows you to measure the value of any given page. So figuring out what a form fill or a download or a registration is worth, or what an eyeball is worth. If you sell advertising, figuring out how much money you make divided by the number of visitors each day would be a good way to start to ballpark some of the values that can go into those goals. So goals and goal values are the things that you need to do most and first in Google Analytics once you've gotten it set up. But like I said, there's a whole long rabbit hole of advanced configuration you can do to make the application really work for you and make it a predictive tool of your sales, of your revenue, of your company performance. The better your goals and goal values are, the more you can forecast what is likely to happen from a financial perspective as your company does business, right? If you know that a lead form fill is worth $10 eventually, after a 90-day sales cycle, then of course you can track that in Google Analytics. And if you are seeing form fills today, you know in 90 days you're going to get some of that revenue. So it's a very powerful forecasting tool. So great question. This is, like I said, one in a series of questions we're going to answer in the next few episodes. So stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the red subscribe button and the little bell icon to be notified. If you're not watching this on YouTube and you want to find it, just go into the links below and you can find the YouTube channel. As always, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the newsletter as well, and I'll talk to you soon. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.